Hello and welcome to the Studio 7 podcast with your hosts Joshy Lee and Luciano D'Amato.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to a special edition of the Studio 7 podcast.
I thought we'd try something new.
Yeah, so this one is going to be a review of Birds of Prey, or Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, as its full title goes.
Yes. The film is directed by Kathy Yan and written by Christina Hodson. Obviously, it's a Warner Bros. Picture.
Yeah, slash DC
Yeah.
entertainment production.
Which is probably why we went in with it with not the highest of hopes.
No, well, we were cautiously optimistic, I
Mhm.
think is probably the safe
Yeah.
term.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously that comes off of the back of like Suicide Squad and the other DC films, which have been a bit hit and miss lately. I think to give them some credit, they have slowly been turning them around with like Aquaman and Shazam, although not masterpieces, a lot better than
Yeah.
some of the other stuff they were putting out.
Joker.
And yeah, Joker, of course. Yeah, changed the game completely.
And I'm looking forward to the new Batman as well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that they're going to go in a way of, well, they've already kind of confirmed it with DC TV series, haven't they? That it's, you were saying like they've done that special where like the Flash from the films met the Flash from
Yes.
the TV.
Yeah.
So they're basically confirming that we can just do whatever we want now,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't work, it was from another universe, and we can forget about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what James Gunn's leading at with his Suicide Squad reboot.
Yeah, so basically, before we dive into the review, we're just giving a bit of background into Warner Bros. And DC and the sort of superhero surgence of films that are, taking over the globe at the moment. Yeah, obviously DC have been like battling Marvel for a little while now, trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
And originally they were trying to copy the formula of having individual origin films and then crossing them over,
Big ensemble piece.
and then having big ensemble pieces, which they tried and arguably failed at with Justice League. But since then,
Yes.
and since a lot of heads rolling at Warner Bros. Behind the scenes, and I'm talking about producers and executives here, they seem to have agreed upon a way forward, which is just all of this takes place in a multiverse, essentially, which I think was the right route to go down. They should have done this to begin with, not tried to copy Marvel's stance where everything's all linked and connected in this one world.
Because I think Marvel about to shoot themselves in the foot with that anyway.
Yeah.
They should have called it quits after Endgame or arguably Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
And then start again, new slate. You've joined with Fox. Start over, have a new storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm hoping as well that this is gonna open up or pave the way for some interesting filmmakers to come in and take over some characters and have some fun with it.
Well, this is what I'd say is clear, definitely from Joker, and now with Birds of Prey, is that they're giving the directors more control now, giving them free reign to make the film they want to make instead of coming in and dictating, which they did with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League, and you can all see the effects of that on screen. Now with Joker and Birds of Prey, they are letting the filmmakers take control, and obviously Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn, had a lot of control over this film. She's one of the producers.
She is, yeah.
Her production company is actually one of the production companies that actually produced it, so it's not just a producer credit in name
She's
only.
even a part of the Producers Guild of America.
There you go.
PGA.
She's very clever and business minded. And
We
this
can
is
tell
clear.
that by her choice of roles as well.
Yeah, she does have a nice mixed bag where she's able to do these sort of films and then also more, Oscar nom level productions like Once Upon a Time of Hollywood and I, Tonya last year and other things.
Yeah. And she's got a Oscar nom.
Oh,
this
for
year too.
Bombshell, isn't it? Yeah. I do admire her because she's one of those actresses who, although it feels like she was forced on us, she's kind of earned it now. Whereas some other actresses who I feel like were forced on us and like saying, "Oh, you have to like these guys, you have to watch these guys."
The industry to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and they haven't. Doesn't feel like since then they've pulled their weight. Whereas Margot Robbie definitely has. So yeah, obviously the director was Kathy Yan. What did you say she'd done before?
She'd done a film called Dead Pigs in 2018.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Me neither. Never heard of it either.
No. but it's a comedy family drama, and she wrote it as well. But no, I really enjoyed her style actually. Action was on point. Comedy hit. Visuals. It wasn't too far fetched from the color schemes and everything from what we've seen with Harley in Suicide Squad. Because obviously they can't completely detach. They've done their best.
Yeah.
And in a very smart way as well, which I thought worked really well.
Yeah. There was just enough nods and links to Suicide Squad without it sort of remaining too tied down. It was its own film and its own storyline and its own characters even. But still keeping some threads.
Yeah. It was a nice mix of, big Hollywood blockbuster, but then there was also that like indie film touch to it.
Yeah, there definitely was that feel. It did come across. Apart from maybe end of the second act, start of the third act, there was a bit of a lull where it felt like there was maybe some studio intervention. Yeah. They may have got like cold feet and said, "Ooh, can you make it a bit more commercial?" But other than that, no, I agree. It was
well, as we were saying, is like it was more the location. It was like there was all these colors and everything going throughout the film because it's Harley Quinn. She's a colorful character. But they were set in a dull city, so she was like shining bright in a dull city. But then all of a sudden, the end of the film, it was just everything is bright and fantastic, and it was like, ugh. And we were saying like maybe if they introduced this, it's a significant location as well. Maybe if they introduce that location a little bit early on, even just like a quick scene or just touch base with it, or in the montage, as you see in the trailer, like her breakdown after the breakup with Joker. Maybe she goes there and maybe she like puts graffiti on the wall or something, like
trashes it even.
Like there might be like a little picture of Mr. J or something. She's like spray painting over it or something. Just like a little hint to know that remember this place, this colorful place in which she used to go to, and what her life used to be. And now we're going to show you what her life is like now without Mr. J, and it's dull and gloomy, and then she meets all these these strong women, and then
who are all colourful in their own way.
And then then they come together, and then they're back in this bright place.
That would have made
just it just felt it just came a little bit left field. But the action that happened inside it was
really awesome. So if you've seen any of the trailers, you probably get the gist of the story. There's not a lot more to it than that, really. In that Harley, after Suicide Squad, falls out with the Joker. They break up. She has a hard time dealing with it, makes some enemies in the process. Then she finally decides to cut loose from Joker. When she does, all the other bad guys in Gotham use this as an opportunity to try and take her down, basically. While that's happening, there's also some other characters who become her sort of
entwined in the story
and become her teammates at the end. So there was a Huntress, Black Canary, a Gotham detective called Montoya, and a little girl called Cassandra Cain, who's a thief. And basically, all their sort of stories get intertwined, and in the end, they got to help each other to defeat the bad guy, which is Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor. And he was a real standout, I thought. He surprised me a lot with what he did with the character. And it felt a lot fresher and more original than a lot of the...
That's 2 in a row now after Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
Yeah, and potentially Obi-Wan series coming out as well next year. So he's on a sort of resurgence or another rise.
And then Zaz as well, Victor Zaz. When I first seen him, I wasn't too excited because I like the traditional look of Zaz with more of the tally marks on him instead of just obscure random cuts. But I can understand the kind of look and vibe they're going for. But then when he was in the film, stole it.
And he doesn't actually say a lot, does he?
No. It's like just like his like movements and just his presence in the scene. He's even if he's like 5 people back, your eyes are
drawn to him,
flicking to him, and he's like doing something. Either he's got a knife in his hand, or he's doing like some kind of sway movements, or smiling, or or like making someone feel uncomfortable or something. I like joked with you in the cinema saying like this is like the Joker that we needed in the Suicide Squad. Like he had that kind of vibe. Like he controlled the scene.
Without it feeling forced. Whereas Joker in Suicide Squad felt forced. Like a lot of the stuff he was doing, like, oh, look at me, I'm crazy. Like that's not the Joker. He just is crazy, and people look at him as a result of it. Not he's looking for attention. That's always been my interpretation of the character anyway.
I appreciated the risk though, because I mean, it was following arguably one of the best portrayals with Heath Ledger, and they did want to separate themselves as far as possible from that portrayal, but it did get lost in, you know, with everything. Like, why would Joker sit down for hours getting tattoos of ha 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 ha? It's like that needle would have went in his arm, it would have went in 3 times, he would have got bored and he would have killed the guy.
Like, and stuck it in the guy's head.
Yeah. And it was like, that's what he's like. He won't have patience to sit there. He's not. It's like how Harley is in this. It's like she thinks that she's being like planning all this stuff, but really it's just spur of the moment. It's like, you know, and she keeps having to tell people like, I'm smart, you know, I got a PhD. So people keep going, wow, she's planning all this stuff, but actually she's not. Yeah. It's like, you know, she can get herself, you know, through out of these situations, but as she says in the film at one point as well, it's like, oh, this is just luck.
Do you know what? Going back to Christina Hodgson, who wrote Bumblebee and Birds of Prey, she's next lined up she's writing The Flash.
Oh, really?
And then Batgirl after that, according to IMDb.
Oh, sick.
So they've obviously realised that she's a blooming good writer, and they want to keep her close, which I'm happy about. Hopefully she can do The Flash and Batgirl.
Well, I really like the
Justice.
The kind of like non-linear choice of storytelling at the beginning. Because obviously there was a few times, again, where there was a few lulls in the film. But again, that there's so many fingers in the pie, it's hard to kind of point fingers.
Yeah.
But I love how you could really feel that you're just inside Harley's mind during this film. Yeah. And that's how she was breaking the fourth wall. It's like, is this actually happening, or is this just something that she's imagining? But yeah, I think she's a brilliant writer. Yeah. And I think hopefully she's going to start coming into her own, and hopefully the studio is going to realize the talent and let her run with it. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do, because there is definitely a few times in this where it feels like Warner Bros. May have been pulling the reins.
Oh yeah.
But then there's other times where you can see where they were nowhere in sight, and it was amazing. Yeah.
So imagine I get that they're probably still going to be a little bit cautious.
Well, the studio, it's their money. Yeah. It's understandable.
Yeah. But hopefully, with the success of Joker, and now this seems to be doing well, we'll see how far it goes. But with these two, maybe it's going to allow them to give even more and more free reign to these creatives. Because the truth is, a lot of these people do know what they're doing, and they do know what works well with the audiences. But obviously there's that miscommunication where studios are more focused on money rather than, you know, passion for the craft, and that's understandable. But this was a good balance, I think.
When I was going into it, there was a lot of harsh reviews basically saying that this is men against women, and are they made Black Mask homosexual and all this kind of stuff, and it was like, it was so subtle and well done.
And this is why I think a lot of it is down to the writer, and because also she clearly knew that, you know, people have seen a lot of these kind of films, and that a lot of the plot points are kind of cliches and tropes, but she tried to like give it a fresh spin, like with the detective. She even commented on the fact that she's saying like stereotypical things that you hear in like cop films, especially like 80s and 90s buddy cop films, and they made a few jokes out of that, which I appreciated. And then, like you said, with the whole homosexual angle, they tried to make Black Mask a different sort of villain, because he could have easily ended up feeling like another Joker or just another mob guy,
just a rich bad guy.
But obviously they fought hard about it, and it's like, no, this is the modern day. Not everybody is like the stereotypical views of.
Just even with Harley as well, they hinted at an experimental past.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most we can say without spoiling the film too much.
Even though, to be honest, there's actually like every single action film is in the trailer. Every single action scene, is in the trailer, or a bit of it. Yeah. So you kind of understand like the story and the progression of where they're going with all the characters. Yeah. But again, like, the characters are spread out throughout the film, so it would have been difficult to have not done it that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's something that I actually liked about it, was that, like, for example, even like one character, one of the Birds of Prey, only really features in the third act. When you think about it, she's mentioned before, but she doesn't have a big part to play. No. And, so it didn't feel like they were cramming too much in. They were sort of laying foundations and then picking it up, towards the final act. And then obviously at the end of the film, they hint at what's to come after. And it is left open for a sequel, obviously.
Yeah. So should we give it a rating out of 10?
Ooh. We did mention this, didn't we, earlier, what our initial thoughts were. I was flicking between two, but I think I've settled on one now
Yeah,
after
I've
having
settled
time.
on one.
Yeah,
Mine's I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
yeah, I'd agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's solid. It's a fun film. I don't think
Mm.
I'd go back to watch it, but
mm,
if it was on TV at home or on streaming and I wanted to have a fun night, I'd probably chuck it on again.
yeah,
It is literally just a fun film, or even just to watch a few of the scenes, action scenes, and a few of the
which
comedy
are really
scenes.
well done.
Yeah,
I've gotta say.
I want my own Bruce.
Yeah, yeah, you'll get that when you watch the film. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad Bruce is still with us. Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the end of that. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
See you in a bit.
Bye.